Greetings, YouTube. I don't know about you, but when I fight champions, obviously Agent Venom comes to mind when you talk about tenacity, but just any champion in general that has the tenacity node, and I see this more and more, especially in Sector 7 of Incursions, because that node is placed often when I'm fighting bosses or mini bosses, etc. It's annoying, and it's also unpredictable. And if you're somebody like me who constantly relies on parry to counter the opponent, you could be setting yourself up to be wrecked because you parry, they shrug off the stun effect of the parry, and then before you have a chance to go in and attack, they counter. A lot of times they'll counter with a special and then really wreck you. At least that's been my experience. Maybe I'm the only one who struggles with this, but hey, it's important to at least know how to handle champions that have either tenacity or those really annoying shrug-off champs that sometimes they shrug off the parry in general. So Storm Pyramid X has this very unique ability where if the opponent shrugs off the parry stun, they're inflicted with a passive stun instead. And it's extremely useful for what I just mentioned, tenacity, as well as shrugging off champs in general. And you can see that McCloud 33, who is one of the most gifted intellectual, I feel like he always teaches me more than I teach him, which I appreciate. I think when you teach students in general, you've got to be open to the fact that the more you learn, the less you understand. And the more you learn, the more you realize that you don't know. And so I view my YouTube channel as an open dialogue between subscribers and myself. I think we're all at the same level playing field, and that is hopefully what my channel implies every time I make a video. So, if the opponent purifies the stun debuff, it is replaced with a passive stun lasting 2 seconds. Now, how does this look? How does this work? Well, prepared with some videos, and we shall see how this works with Cork. Because, yes, sometimes he restores the stun, and yet it's essentially a guaranteed parry against Cork, because either he doesn't shrug it off, or when he does, it's replaced with it anyway. So, obviously, if it's stun immune nodes, this isn't going to work, because no matter what, they can't be stunned. But those stun immunity nodes, or all immunity nodes, are pretty dang rare in the game, thankfully, for the most part. And so having the peace of mind to know that you're going to guarantee a parry is something that is just really unique to this champion, and helps with what I like to call mental health insurance when you're jumping into a fight that maybe makes you queasy against a defender that normally can cause you a headache. Do another video of this. One of the most annoying people that you, unless you've got him concussed, can't parry. How about the Astro Evade counter no more of Storm Pyramid X? Also notice, because this is one of her unique abilities, she does not have to be awakened to have this be active. And that is appreciated as well, because nothing's worse than getting a 6-star champ and saying, well, it's a third of the puzzle piece. Now I gotta get that champion awakened, and ideally at a high sig to be effective, and that won't happen until 2035. All right, parrying Mordo, and doing so with the protection of not having the reverse stun on you just makes this fight so much more fun, and also uses that really sick special too, along with some of those awesome stacked debuffs. So I'm impressed. This is one of those champions that I don't even have as a 4-star. So much of her is beyond basic. It is non-existent. And it's important when I talk about a champion on my channel to be as open as possible about the limit of knowledge, because sometimes somebody will open, say, a Storm Pyramid X, and they'll say, Prof, how good is this champion? I'll be like, I have no idea. I don't have them. But Mole Man, everybody's favorite, the guaranteed stun. They purify it. They still get stunned. It's a beautiful thing. I'm excited now to have this champion and maybe rank her up. I know this is going to be a DC reference. It's going to trigger some people. But what I've learned in my last 3 years of playing this game, especially in the last year, because rank up resources have become so much easier to get, to rank up 5 stars especially, is you want to have different champions of different classes with different utilities max ranked as much as possible, because the DC reference comes into play when I talk about Batman's utility belt. you want to have different champions that have different utility so that if you're going up in, say, a boss rush that has a unique BS combination of nodes only a couple of champions are really good with, like, say, Crossbones or Guillotine 2099, for example, that you are able to counter with a champion that is strong enough to save you potions and revives and units. And so I very much appreciate that this is a champion that has this really unique utility to guarantee on not against anything that's not a stun immune champ that parry stun duration. It's just nice that Kabam thought ahead. And here is the first champion I talked about, guaranteeing that you stun Agent Venom and that there's no tenacity that could pop up. That is something that I've always wanted to see, but of course it's just not possible normally. But you see that tenacity is registered. It technically happened, and yet the stun was not taken off. It was a guaranteed, 2 seconds of stun duration? So, amazing. And also, that special, too, is sick. And just like my girl, who's another champion I really want, Black Widow Deadly Origin, just like she stacks some shocks, and most champs are not immune to shock damage, so is the case with this. Well, McCloud33, you were awesome. Thank you so much for the information for the community. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, I just really appreciate when summoners reach out to me and say, Prof, I want you to highlight this unique ability that's maybe being overlooked with a newer champion that not a lot of people have yet, but that once they get her, they can use it. And when that champion does not need to be awakened, it just allows the community to instantly get excited when they pull her. I'm also apparently allergic to talking about champions being awakened, so sorry about the sneeze. All right, on that note, have a great day, YouTube, and thanks again, Mr. McCloud33, for submitting this awesome info to help out the community.